No sword in my hands, just a will that won't break. I've seen modest terror tremble, felt every quake. Sam carried Frodo when he couldn't go on. Now I carry that heart even when hope is gone. Then came Gandalf's staff, lit the sky. Even the darkest times still let light fly. From Isengard fall to Helm's Deep's last stand. I rise with the brave, not just sword in hand. Don't fight for crowns, I don't kneel to fate. I stand like Eo when I won't hesitate. Aragorn's cry, Theoden's charge in the fray. I'm the flame in the dusk till the break of day. I don't fight for crowns, I don't kneel to fate. I stand like Eo and I won't hesitate. Aragorn's cry, Theoden's charge in the fray. I'm the flame in the dusk, the break of day. Fellow of the rings, I give it all. From Moria's dark to Mount Doomfall. Fellow, beyond the pain, we fight till it's over, we rise again. From ashes we rise, we answer the call. We stand for the light, we are one for all. Born with the fire like smog in the air, but I learned from Boromir, beware despair. Power corrupts, the ring's heavy price. Gollum fell chasing it twice. I saw Denethor fall, blinded by fear, while Faramir stood, silent but clear. Galadriel's grace, but a fire inside. She passed on the test, while others just lied. I'm not just a fighter, I'm light through the shade. Like Legolas swift, and Gimli unafraid. From Rivendell's peace to the Black Gate's cry, I rise like the eagles, I will not die. Fellow, we give it all. From the Shire to Shadow, we heed the call. Fellow, beyond the flame, with hearts unbroken, we rise again. Through trolls and wraiths, we rise through the fall. We stand for the weak, we are one for all. Fellow, through fire and stone, from instant march to thrones overthrown. Fellow, no fear remains, even Sauron's shadow breaks at our name. We carry the ring, we answer the call. We stand as the light, we are one for all. I am here with the fellow of the rings.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to our 30th non-stop Rise to Our live stream. How's everybody doing? What's up, Arsenal? What's going on, Hard Rule? How are you guys doing? I'm doing fine. What's up, Luxie? Luxie. Who is Luxie? That name is familiar. What's up, Cleona? How you doing? Let's just make sure the screen is large enough. Here we go. Unknown, no sir. How are you guys doing today? Not really someone to be known. Oh, come on. Everybody is important. What's going on, Simon? How you doing, my boy? All right, guys, you got 5 days left in the season. And you might be wondering, what's going on with that thumbnail? Why am I calling out the rivals? Oh, ooh, what did I do? Oh, man. I accidentally closed the game. All right, jeez. By accident, I pressed something here that closed the game. What the? All right. I'm doing good, but I am a bit tired. Going to sleep really late this whole week has not been a very responsible thing to do. It takes forever to load on the PC. So how did your season end, Arsenal? How you guys doing there? What about you, Simon? How is your season going, my man? All right. What's up, Logic? How you doing, man? How you doing? All right, let's hop on the voice chat. I think Jack said he's gonna be here for a little bit, so let's hop over. We get to chat a little bit. And what's up, Jax?
Hey, what's up?
Not much. How
Back
you?
at it again, huh?
Yeah, 30 days in a row, man. 30 days.
30 for 30, like the ESPN show.
Exactly. There you go. They stole that from me.
You ever watch it?
Yeah. It's been a while, but yeah, I used to.
Yeah, it's pretty good show, man.
So you back in Cali?
Yeah, I was just in Florida for the week.
All right, sweet.
Back when, whenever that was.
How the
Weekend, I guess.
how did the big meeting go?
Oh, good, yeah. So yeah, we met up in the valley yesterday. My good friend Steve came with me because he's the one that brokered it. Because my good friend Steve, you'll never guess what he does for work. And we could sit here this whole stream and you could guess about him. You'll never guess what he does for work. But anyway, please try though. I guarantee you will not guess what he does for work. I guarantee you this, that you will not guess what my good friend Steve does for work. But anyway, one of his clients, and most of all his clientele, most of them, not all of them, but a good portion of his clientele are very rich individuals here in Los Angeles. And, so he knows a lot of people in the community that he works in or whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
And through his network or whatever, because he knows everything, what's going on with me, and I know everything what's going on. We're good friends, right?
Yep.
And so he knows what I'm looking for and what my vision is, and what I need, that kind of thing. And he found what I needed within his network through his high-end clientele or whatever. Somebody that had what I need to kind of get where I want here in the future with what I do. And so he came and we met, and it was a good meeting, and closed the deal. They want to move forward. They're very excited. I'm very excited. So yeah, it's going to take a lot of work and time and effort to make everything come together. Probably 2 or 3 year plan here I have, and hopefully we can go from A tier to S tier in that time.
Sounds good, man. Sounds good. I hope it's gonna work out for sure. I know.
Yeah, we hope. You never know in life, but we're trying.
Sweet.
Yep. I'm a little disappointed in this season. We gotta do the.
We'll definitely be
do the.
Yep.
The season end, whatever recap, and maybe talk about it then. I guess maybe. I'll save my.
Yeah, I think it'll be good. Save your notes and your comments for them, because I'm also kind of saving some things for that day.
It's very rare, right, that you have well, I don't know. You know, some people that we're up against here are new to NRP, but just general etiquette. When you have worthy opponents, you know, you make sure that they're going to get their just rewards if and when possible, right? Because not every single team can get just rewards and, you know, gold badges or whatever. But usually it's common etiquette that the strongest opponent that you fought, if they do not win, you make sure that they get a gold badge. And it doesn't seem like the guys here want to let that happen or whatever. I don't know exactly what's going on, but it's a bit disappointing, you know, because it's just general etiquette, like I said, and general common respect that you give your strongest opponent that you fought. If you beat them, you make sure they get rewards, right?
Yeah.
So it starts a cycle of the same thing happening to them in future scenarios and meetings, and it's just there's no need for it in such a small community, you know.
Yep.
Really isn't. It kind of makes your reputation suffer, I think. You know, when you do that, you lose respect from teams, and you know everybody kind of knows everybody here. And if you're here a while, if you're new to our NRP or whatever, and you're here a little while, then you realize, hey, this is a small community, and everybody kind of knows everybody, and you know it makes you look bad in the eyes of the community when you do this to teams that you know are solid teams and they fight and they have a good reputation or whatever. Just makes you look bad to everybody, really.
Yep.
So it's unfortunate. Yep.
It is, man.
Well, what's going on with you?
Nothing. I mean, just the grind the last 30 days has been the same. Wake up, go to work, come back, stay with the family. 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock stream. Rinse and repeat for the last 30 days.
Yeah. Well, how's the average viewership for all of your streams been over these 30 days? What are you averaging as far as views, I wonder?
I mean, right now, we had the last 30 days, we've had about 30,000 views on that, throughout these 30 days. So basically about 1,000 a day. But the thing is,
I think that's good, right?
It is great because these are all live streams. Videos tend to get more viewership than live streams unless it's like, a tier list. So the goal for this after, I'm going to analyze all the data, but the next goal really is going to be making shorter videos as well as the live streams, but shorter videos. That way, because not everybody wants to tune into a 2-hour live stream. So I'm going to cater to that now too.
Like the TikToks that you used to do.
Yeah. I mean, probably won't be shorts, but it will be just like 10, 12-minute videos and stuff.
I see. Okay, well, yeah. Well, maybe specialize like a certain topic or something, right? That you just kind of go over real quick. Like, all right, here's a commander, and here's how you do him, and here's what you're trying to get to, and that kind of thing.
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah, that'd be good. Yeah, like reference material. Like back in the day, you used to have encyclopedias on your bookshelf, right? And before the internet, like some of you don't realize that once upon a time there was no internet, and motherfuckers had to kind of scramble to get the knowledge they needed. So you called somebody or you looked that shit up.
Yep.
That's how we did it back in the day, right?
Yep. That's the goal. So
yeah, you create like an encyclopedia of, there's so many things, right? Like you could do all the commanders, or at least all the ones that are S and A,
Mm-hmm.
do all the commanders, then you can do like the gear, and then you can do so many things. And then I think that would be a great idea, because anytime somebody needed something, they could just go and find your encyclopedia of all these videos and any kind of reference that they need. It's just right there, right?
Yep.
Boom, it's right there.
Yeah.
Because what if they do some crazy marketing, something happens, and this game blows up? Well, you already have your whole encyclopedia there. You're starting the game new. You don't know what you're going to do. Like me, back in season 1, I was using Sauron, and Saruman is my Tylers, right? I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. So, jump to that video, and it's whatever, 12, 15 minutes long, and boom, you got all, you got everything you need right there. Boom, it's right there.
Yep.
I think that's
Yeah, so that's the next step. So we'll see.
And then obviously you gotta get insight and you gotta get feedback from the people that know. You know, it wouldn't just be like, okay, here's what I think. It's
No,
like,
no,
here's
yeah,
what
exactly, yeah.
group consensus is, right? Like, here's what a bunch of people think, and they kind of know what the fuck they're talking about. So check this out, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly like that. So yeah, that's the next step. We'll see how it goes. Ugh. We're here long term, so all right, baby, gotta get that resource. Gotta find content to do after once we get to Bagan. We have no idea how long we're gonna be there. So
Yeah. Illy and Noah are missing me. They haven't seen me in a while. They're calling me out in the work chat. Like, I haven't fought them in a while. I've been trying to hold back these fire hordes over here.
Yeah, they're in pretty large numbers today.
I'll come visit you guys in a little while. I'm busy right now.
Right.
Yeah, we got to schedule this season end recap show. You got to get all these board, you know, all that. Get that out of the way. That's something we can do. You know, I usually like to do that in season so you can bring up all your graphics and all that. People kind of disappear sometimes, bag in, that kind of thing, you know.
Yeah, we'll do it before. We do right before we get into Bagan. It'll be a good one. So instead of waiting until it's too late.
When does our season end? It ends in,
I mean, countdown's in 5 days.
Okay, so and then they're gonna have their whatever prearranged battle for the ring tomorrow, and then they'll be maybe Sunday.
Yeah, that could work.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm off work for 2 weeks now, so starting tomorrow, I'm off for 2 weeks from work, so I'll have a lot of time to do stuff.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, just taking. I mean, my parents are coming here from the U.S., so.
Oh, nice. That, bro. You gotta take them around, you know.
Oh, for sure. We're gonna go to London. Gonna go to a couple of places. So.
I heard from a guy I know. He said London's out of control with all the people that are immigrating. He's like, man, it's hard to find a Briton.
I mean, I live. That is a good question. So I live, in Liverpool, which is about 4.5 hours from London. But I was talking to a friend like a few days ago actually about this, and he says I think by 20, I could be wrong by the date, by 2030 or 2040, something like that. Like the British will be the minority in their own country.
Get wrecked, son.
So
Get wrecked.
It's I mean, Europe suffers quite a bit. I mean, obviously UK is not in Europe anymore, but used to be. So Europe and the UK do suffer with a bit of the whole immigration situation. It's a bit rough.
Yeah,
I think every country.
It's kind of the same thing in the Western states. Like California and Arizona and all that.
Yeah, because they're bordering states to other countries. Yeah.
Saying this is a bad thing. I'm actually one of the people that live out here that kind of like immigration, right?
Yeah.
Because I think the people, as far as you look, forward in the future, okay, well, who's the protagonist that we have problems with as a country? Well, right now it's China and Russia, and I think China you can't avoid it, but Russia, it's unfortunate. I would hope that we would be allies with Russia because I like Russian people, and they're just good at war in general. Not as far as maybe tactics and strategy and material and all that, but they just keep coming, right? Like zombies, they don't give a fuck, bro. You kill one of them, the next one come right at you, right? So, and that's a good thing in war. But anyway, kind of the same thing is happening in the Western states with the Hispanics coming over from, South America, right? Mexico and all that.
Mm-hmm.
And every year they have a train of migrants and they walk up from, wherever, Guatemala, Honduras, all those places. They come up and they're trying to get in the U.S. for a better life. Get it, right? And most people are against this, right? Because there's a lot of problems that go along with that. I won't go into it. But it's the same thing in like my state, California, even right now, not even in the future. Like you take whatever white and black people or even Asians, they're already the minority because there's more Hispanics here in this state than any other type of people, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if you're okay, on the flip side of that, if you're a Hispanic person, okay, well, the reality is not even 150 years ago or whatever, this was Mexico. All these Western states were actually Mexican, and we stole it from from the Mexican. We stole it from them, right? Because what happened was, if you don't know your history, I forget the dates, but it's 1800s. Uh, the U.S. as a country was just kind of the eastern states and some of the middle states, and none of the western states. And then there was this mass migration of people expanding and wanting to go west, right, for various reasons. And it, what happened was we started to do that, and there was conflict because the Mexicans were like, this is our country. What are you doing? And the president at the time, he offered the president of Mexico, I forget the amount, I'm going to say 10 million, somewhere around 10 million, to buy whatever California. And he said, the Mexican president said, no, man, it's my country. What the fuck are you talking about, homie? Get out of here. So then what he did was he sent a group over into, I think, Texas or maybe New Mexico or Arizona, somewhere over there. He sent a group to go fight, and a small group, and they got wrecked. And then he used that as propaganda to start a war with Mexico over this territory.
Yeah, I remember studying a little bit about that. Yeah.
Then, of course, well, after we stomped them out, then the president was obliged to say, okay, I'll sell you California for this amount. So basically we stole it, but I mean, you can go back probably in any major country's history and there's a story like this, but that's actually what happened. So it was Mexico before. I mean, that's not what it is now, and none of us had a part in any of that, so it's old news. But yeah,
Rough, innit? Life. Yeah, I remember studying a little bit about the whole Mexico-U.S. war a few years back. Right. So let's have a quick look here. So now, as it stands, okay, so guys, as it stands here, Fire is getting the golden title because they just took their 5th capital along with Dol Guldur from, they changed colors. So Brad and Dash, they took Rohan, Adoras. And yeah, basically, if nothing changes, they will get their gold badge. I think Noed and Elio also have 5. They have 1 over here, 2.
what do you need for a gold
3.
badge? Just, right?
It's five large structures.
For a gold badge?
Yeah, and Dol Guldur.
No, you're tripping, homeboy. There's no way that a gold badge. You're talking about the ring badge.
Oh yeah, no. The gold badge is just 3 capitals.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah. So 3 capitals, you get renowned creator. So total number of significant structures occupied by kingdom is 3, including Dol Guldur. And then we are currently a coalition protector, which we have 1 occupied, including Dol Guldur. And yeah, that's where we stand so far.
What normally would happen in a season like this, and I understand we interrupted a prearranged server, no fault of our own other than joining because we weren't aware of that. But normally what would happen in a season like this is after Fire and Neon and Illy and Noad have their whatever ring battle, they're kind of having a unique ring battle from what I hear.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to just have 1 army and there's no reinforcements. So you just got your 1 army to work with. And if you die, you're out of the fight. And they're going to fight for the ring, I think, tomorrow, from what I heard. And then what normally would happen is after whoever wins that battle, then their teammates, okay, the ring bearers' teammates are obviously going to get a gold badge, okay, because they're the victors. And then whoever your strongest, most worthy opponent is, then you will concede the territories to them, if possible, to also get a gold badge at the very minimum. This is the normal way things play out when you have, respect amongst the people that you're playing with, which is pretty commonplace. I mean, in NRP, because everybody kind of knows everybody. So hopefully that plays out that way. We'll see. If it doesn't, it'll be disappointing. Yeah.
Yep. It will be.
So I saw you were running some kind of a funky trash experiment with the ghost, the King of the Dead. That dude's trash. I don't know what you're doing with him. If you're trying to build something that's super defensible or has a high CC output or something, that's not the guy. You should throw Galadriel in there for King of the Dead and what I saw you were trying to do.
It's not for CC. It's for the damage reduction versus physical damage. So he does. So he forces 3 formations, both on your side and their side, to do minimal damage, right? So if you're running a physical damage. Go ahead.
But who cares? Because nobody's running troop damage. So who gives?
No. It's not troop damage. It's any formation. So that includes the commander, right? So.
But it doesn't matter because their skills are usually set numbers. So you're not.
No. But you do. Let me show you. So let's find a physical damage commander here. So Dane, for example, right? His damage range is 50 to 69. You're gonna make Dane only do 50 the whole time. It won't scale up to 69.
Okay.
So basically, in this case,
the whole time or just 3 rounds?
The whole time. So if you divide the 50 by 69, you're decreasing his damage by 28%. Right. Gotcha. So I mean, obviously, it's something we just like plug and play, have some fun, and see if something that can be built. So this formation here, the way that we had set up, was actually getting really good draws versus some big commanders. Yeah. And we don't even have the right units for this setup. You need something different. So it was fun, but it was something that I'll test in future seasons when we have more resources and the actual units that we need. But it was fun using this as a defensive setup. Look at this, for example. Look at this. Let me show you this, okay? So this was the anomaly with. Never mind. This is the anomaly with the Znagas. Not getting.
Oh yeah, that's another thing. You can't have a Sauron Snaga build
on this. No, exactly. You can't. That's why. This is why this was the crazy anomaly right here. Because funny enough, Saruman, King of the Dead, and Kiron got the minimum, and Sauron didn't. So.
Right, yeah. Well, that's what I was telling you about when we did the tier list. I was like, you guys are fucking crazy. I'm like, Sauron definitely can be a troop damage commander and get you whatever, 60 to 100K on average per fight, right?
Yep.
And you guys, some of these guys are like, no. I'm like, all right, bro, here's the proof right here.
I mean, look at this one, for example. You got Mesmer, who usually does quite well. We drew positively, and we won the resource trade on this one, and with really just pretty bad units for this build. So it was just fun. It shows that there is a way to do something with this, although you're like, bro, you gotta tell me to remove Galadriel or Bjorn to run King of the Dead. Of course not, but there might be some kind of fun for people that want to run. People run this guy. There's a guy that's gonna join us next season. He has a Z1 King of the Dead. So for people that wanna run him, we're just finding options and fun ways to play with.
Mesmer and Nazgul are like the only two dudes over there in Fire Neon that run Karun, right?
Yep. At least as their main, yeah.
He's quite underrated, I gotta say.
He is. I mean, there are some reports I was getting like 25 CCs between Sauron and Kirun. So
he's kind of like hit or miss though, because I'm using him in my B or C team, right? This season I'm trying him out, and he's kind of like sometimes he'll get you a whole gaggle of
exactly.
A whole gang of CC, and sometimes he just like MIA. And you're
like, exactly,
bro. Like, what are you here for? This is why you're here, bro.
Yeah.
Do your job. One job. You got one job. Do it.
Yep. There was a few reports there that he basically like got 0, like not even 1 proc of CC. Like, so basically became useless in that fight. So, yeah, man, it's good. It's good fun. But yeah, there's some really cool stuff that we're working on, and
who is we?
Me. I mean, right now it's me and Terror. We're working on something really
Okay.
cool, and hopefully
Terra, man,
yeah,
that dude probably has the most merit in the whole server amongst his 3 accounts.
yeah, he has a lot.
Wonder how much he has. Let's add this up. I'm
I
curious.
mean,
Actually,
let's go to. I mean,
actually,
I'm not sure if all of them are
go over
ranked
this.
though. That's the thing. So if they're
Okay, but we
ranked,
can look. We can look kind of in our. Well, I can look. I don't want you to look, but I can look and see all of his accounts, see how much he's got.
yeah. So
All right, so Terra 1 has 2.46,
all right,
and then Terra 2, where's
that's
Terra
4
2?
mil. One of them has 4 mil.
4 mil. Okay, there's the second one, and where's the third one? And then Terra 3 has 3.35. So how much is that? It's like 10, right?
Yep, very close to 10 mil.
So he actually has the most merit, I think, out of anybody. Can you imagine playing counts all day? Who does that, bro? Who does that anymore? Come on now. That's straight no life in it, homie. Like no life.
I mean, there's somebody that's like running 3 accounts on his own. Somebody that's like talking in this live stream right now.
Oh, really?
You, dude.
Oh yeah, but yeah.
You're like talking about Terry, you're doing the same.
Yeah, but I don't. Rorm is just the Air Force.
Yeah.
All he's there for is just to. His main job is just to stop these little cowardly sniper reinforcement, fucking whatever. Like, and who does that, by the way? On that topic, like, who really logs in to play this game to go snipe some motherfucking reinforcements? Like, what are you doing, bro? Like, you're fighting reinforcements for Christ's sake, and you're doing that for, I guess, I mean, what, 1 or 2 reasons. Number one, you can't win a regular fight on the ground just fighting with your team at the front lines. Or 2, you just really enjoy winning. Or maybe that's a byproduct of the first, right? You can't win a fight, so you go win a fight any way you can, right? Let me go kill somebody. Oh, I'm a tough guy, right? Come on, bro. What are you doing? But Rorm is just there to kill fucking, to either stop people from doing that cowardly bullshit, sniper reinforcements, and if needed, to destroy their forts if they keep persisting at it, like, you know, this clown, Pickle Trickle, whatever, whoever that is, like that clown.
Trickle your
But
pickle?
the other one,
Trickle your pickle?
the OG good account that I play. I mean, he's side by side with my main account all the time, but he even really isn't even that strong. He's a little strong. He can do a little work, but he just kind of like to make sure draws get finished, or
Yeah.
if I don't have stamina on one or the other, whatever, just
Yeah, we've been talking about this in
jump.
Gore's Discord. We've been having a conversation for like
What?
3 days now, where the meta has about like how the meta has shifted towards. I mean, it's more expensive for a good side, like an all good side formation now, to win versus an all evil side formation.
I agree. Yeah, it is actually.
It is.
You need a lot of respect. And, It's true.
Yeah, and yeah, it's like you. It's not just the respect. Basically, all you need on the evil is swans or mountain trolls, which will still do you a good job, and then some tanky units. Basically, that's all you need. Where in good side, you're gonna need a lot. Like you're gonna depend on the specific troop to mitigate some of this one type of damage, and there's this other thing. It's a lot harder for an all good side team to counter an all evil side.
Yeah.
So definitely something that we thought that was never gonna happen has happened, which is fine.
Yeah.
But it is a reality.
Yeah. Some teams, like, let me see, like that big bear and lame and order and all that. There was a lot of people in that server that's still running the old meta, like just the straight Sauron, Gandalf the White, Bjorn Dane.
Mm-hmm.
There was quite a lot. I'd say that was the majority of people were doing, the old meta. So
I mean, one of the reasons for that is they're not gonna be putting money anymore into heavy investment into the game. So for them, it's just, I'm not gonna put thousands into another commander, so might as well just use what I got. You got a Z6 Dane. Do I try to get an R5 Saruman, or do I continue just using my Z6 Dane? There's a lot of these teams have not really invested into the evil commanders.
Right.
So.
Dane is just, man, Dane can just straight up wreck your life, bro.
Mm-hmm.
He is the scariest commander to use, I think, because when he gets madness,
yeah.
wrong moment, you know, and it all comes together and you hit yourself for 40K, it's just, it sucks, man. That's actually a problem I have with my OG Good account, is that I don't have anybody else to use except this Dane and Bjorn, right?
Yep.
It's a struggle. It's been a real struggle this season, man. I was trying to do something like, what else can I do here? You know, like who else? But there's nobody else, right? There's Shadow and Lurtz, but they're both, you know, low R's or what? Well, actually R1001 and something. But I was even looking at King of the Men, changing him out as a support, you know, because he's got that 30% when they're stunned or madness, and there's so much of that we're facing. And then if you put like Seafarers in those slots on all the commanders, so now you got your 30% from when they're madness sun and 30%, you know, you double up, right?
Yep. I mean,
I'm thinking of all kinds of crazy things to try.
One thing that I thought of trying, I mean, you kind of gave me an idea now to run Dane specifically, which is basically running Seafarers for that minus 30%, potentially running King of Men for the extra one, but also running the. I tried this in the past, but I didn't run the way that you're talking now, which I think is a valid thing to try. It's running this.
What?
Let me pull it up here, the gear, so I remember the name. It's the anti-madness one.
Which one?
Where is it? Here we go.
Yeah, I would love to run Saruman, but I don't have Saruman on my OG Good account.
Power overwhelming, right? Because think about, I mean, obviously this is basically exactly, but that's basically to protect you from madness and stun. I mean, madness damage, and when you're stunned, you also get less damage. So you can basically stack 24%. That because this means that you have to worry. This is just a theory, by the way. Potentially means that you have to worry less about having a fast commander, because if the Dane is maddened or stunned, you could potentially reduce your damage by 24%. Then an extra, is it 30% from King of Men? Or is it 18%? It's 30%, isn't it?
It's 30% for King of Men. Okay. And then let's think about this. And I'm pretty sure the way that this works is they don't all stack up to a high percentage. It's each one chimes in at their own time. So in other words, you have King of the Men, you have the 30% when all men units are stunned or madness. Then you have the Seafarers, which is 30% less commander damage. Then you have the set, which is 24% less damage when they're stunned or madness. Now, if you add all those up, how much is that? It's like whatever, 60% or 70 or something. But I don't think that's how it does it, right? When the battle report goes down, the way that it plays out is it takes each damage and then it first applies that 30%. Okay, take that away. Then it's going to go the next one and apply that 30%, take that one away. Then it goes the next one and take that one. It doesn't go like, okay, 30, 30, 24, whatever, 84. It doesn't all add it up. Right?
That's a good question.
Stupid. Okay. I'm pretty sure that's how it works. That would be stupid broken, right? That would be like 84% less damage in that instance where that group, that commander and his guys are stunned or madness. Yeah, that I don't think it works. If it did, it'd be way OP. Stupid.
You never know. I mean, let's ask. I'm gonna ask that question. I don't think Vest is probably working today. I think he was free between Monday and Wednesday. But I'm gonna ask the guys to see. That's a very good question, though. So you can basically run. Let's see, like your regular Dane Bjorns or Saruman, whatever, and you can run King of Man as a support.
Maybe I don't know. I don't know what to do with this OG Good account, because I swear it's like every other fight I'm wrecking myself for 40K. Every other fight, bro. It's like, good grief.
Yeah.
I think maybe the set's the way, but then you got to do it on everybody because you don't know who the hell's going to get wrecked, right?
Yep.
I mean,
Yep. Yep.
But that's an idea, I think. Yeah,
I like it. I'm gonna have to.
especially against an evil RP team like Fire.
Full of CC. Yeah.
Yeah. I wonder how Fire will do when they go up against some of these other NRP teams with just the old meta, right? Just the Gandalf the White, Sauron, and beyond. I wonder how that's going to work.
Good question.
I think they'll be okay. We'll see.
Yeah, I think so too. They've done quite well for themselves. All right, we got some more troops here. Some more transport.
Lost a lot of ground overnight, it looks like.
Yeah, but I mean, but overall, like we're all stuck in the same little area here forever now.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, very hard, you know, as you know, as you get into these choke points, you know, teams that potentially haven't played as much together kind of disperse a little. So then you kind of little by little, it's just whoever will hold on to the last day.
Well, you have to respect the fact that they haven't all full out. Obviously, every single player on both of their teams pushed us because we just go straight back to the past. But you have to respect the fact that we've held out as well as we have, because something that gets forgotten is we've been at low resources for a long time now, right? 18 players at very low resources compared to what you would normally be able to have to fight with. We're significantly behind in most cases, player by player, in the amount of resources we have, the amount of resources they have. So a lot of times it doesn't work like this. They just can't sustain a defense because they just don't have the resource. So you have to respect the fact that we've been able to kind of defend, not against full out pushes, but, still kind of holding ground.
Yep, it's been good, man. It's like,
and the fact that basically you have the strongest of the partners here fighting, carrying most of the heavy load against four teams. So it's not 1v4, but
Yep. Like nice little stack here, like 15 armies.
15. I don't see 15. Where do you see 15?
There's eight. There's 8 here, and there's 2 over here. And then
all right,
2 more
who's on
here. The 8.
There's a couple guys.
You got Chris, Spliff Dad, Daryl, Derek, Wyvern, Epsilon's 2 armies from him, and then Killy.
Yeah.
Shere Khan is at the front.
Yeah. I really only look out for whoever's the best that they have. That's what I get excited about. That I don't get excited about stacks.
Sub Sleepy.
My only mission in life in this game, and has been for several seasons now, is to find the best and beat the best. That's it. That's the only reason I play. Find the best, beat the best. That's it.
Anyone on your list that you still haven't fought?
Yeah, what's his name? Gollum. I have never seen Gollum.
Oh man, gotta make that happen then.
Gollum is a homeboy of Lonely's, right?
Yeah.
They go back to the Chaos days or something. But,
Yep.
Old Chaos guy, what's his name? Randy. That funny dude. He over there doing Tascadoon new game.
Yep.
It's pretty good actually. I looked at it and it looks very good, man.
Yep. We're doing a stream next week on it, so.
Oh, good. Yeah, I'll come stop by for that. Game looks really, really good. I don't have time to do it with this game. It's just and I don't want to spend money on another game. This is probably it for me, right? And a lot
Yeah.
of people, I think.
Yep. Yep.
But it looks great. I think they've done a great job, and you know, the game itself is kind of like Lord of the Rings 1.0, right?
Yep.
So
Yep. Yep. Yep.
it looks really cool, though. It kind of gets me a little excited because you want to go in there and you want to start building, right? Start theory craft and all that. But I can't go do that again. Not after these last games. I spent too much money. I can't keep doing that.
I know. I mean, I'm definitely gonna try it out, but there's no way I'm putting. I'm gonna go completely free to play. I'm gonna become the new Saint. If you guys
Yeah.
remember who Saint from Iron is, he was
Yeah.
the probably the pathing king in this game, and so
Yeah.
that's who I'm gonna become. I'll theory craft, I'll build stuff out, but I'm not gonna be spending. I just don't have the means to do it. So.
Well, are you going to keep playing this account or what?
Oh, bro, rise to war until it dies, man.
No, I know that. Are you still going to keep playing this account you're on right now?
Yep,
What's
yep,
gonna happen?
yep. Definitely.
You're going to play that forever, or what are we talking about?
No, I don't know.
Well, yeah.
I don't know yet.
So that's really the thing, right? But even if you don't play this account, I'm sure some other Kraken will come along and be like, "Here you go," whatever. But
Hope so.
yeah, Saint was legendary because you remember I told you that story about how other games, mobile games, pay to win games, how you can spend money and buy basically anything you want or need, and you could pay money in this other games like this to speed up your march. Like you say you want to attack a tile, well you could speed up the time that it would take to go walk to that tile to attack it, to the point where you could go from Eastern Hills at the far end of the right side of the map all the way to Fort Linden. You could speed it up to where you could start your march in Eastern Hills and hit somebody in Fort Linden in 3 seconds. So all the way across the map in 3 seconds. But Saint would do that on the Nat. So naturally,
Exactly.
he would do that as a tiler. He would take your team, or your team's access rather, because you just build a fortress or whatever. He would take your team from Eastern Hills to Fort Linden in like 2 days, bro.
Yep.
On his own, not with help, on his own. And this is before the passes and all that, of course. But he would take your team all the way to have access to Fort Linden like by day 2. It was that ridiculous.
That was crazy.
That's what as a Tyler. So one end of the map, the other in like 2 days flat. Like what in the fuck? But yeah, there's back to what you asked me. There's Gollum and there's a few other guys on my bullseye list, but most of them I've already checked the boxes.
Yep.
Everybody.
I think so. Did you hit Lonely already?
Yeah. Even the account you're playing.
Yep.
That was on my list. But we used to go off to the side and squabble.
Yeah.
Drop, fight each other last few seasons. But yeah, most of them I've found, and
I'm asking a few guys about that whole theory craft. You talked about the reduction.
There's a guy over in still in RP that's on that list too. Iron Cell. I didn't get a chance to.
I mean, he wasn't he? I mean, he was in our team, wasn't he? Didn't Iron Cell play with us?
Yeah, I fought Raven MSV. I fought him plenty of times. That ain't no big deal. Well, it actually, and risking a modesty, I'm not trying to brag here. Honestly, nobody's really a big deal when I fight them, because a lot of times guys are only using one main, right? So one formation. I don't care if you got God on your team. So you got God, Sauron, Dane, and Bjorn. It doesn't matter if you're fighting, multiple formations, because sure, I concede that my main, what you would call it, my A team, is never going to be good or as good as a proper Kraken's A team. I concede that because, you have the knowledge that my B and C team are going to finish the draw, or even if I lose A versus A, my B or C team is definitely going to win the second fight when the second army hits the first army. Or even if a Kraken has 2 teams, or even sometimes in the rare event you see a guy with 3 teams like I run, it still doesn't match up, because the way I've built mines is my 3 teams are all kind of equally good. Yes, they're not as great as in proper Kraken's A team, but combined, 3 are very strong. So it doesn't matter what you're using as a Kraken, especially if you're only using one formation, you're going to die.
Yep.
Because it's 2 or 3 versus 1. It's just numbers, right?
Yep. Yep.
But yeah, Iron Cell, I never got to fight. And I actually played with Iron Cell. Me and Tascadoon actually played with Iron Cell in that last season of role play over there with Null and Void, right? I was able to take Pawpaw off my list. I fought Pawpaw, and that was disappointing. But maybe it was the troops he was using. No, I don't think so. I think it was just kind of disappointing. But Pawpaw's very strong. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to talk shit about nobody, especially Krakens, because I know most all the Krakens were all friends. But I didn't get a chance to fight Iron Cell. Iron Cell actually uses 2 formations, and both are very strong. Kind of like Tascadoon, he uses 2 formations, and both are pretty strong, right? You know, it's not like you're just gonna walk in there and take him out. No. You better pack a lunch with these types of guys, right? So I didn't get a chance to get down with Iron Cell, so he's another guy on my list. I don't know if I ever do unless they come to, NRP. We'll see.
All right.
Eventually.
So Taya said I think he's sending one of the teams to NRP.
Okay, good. So maybe I'll get that opportunity. Yeah.
He was in the he was in a stream. He said them together is just too strong for RP.
Of course, yeah. Well, of course, right? And I always thought, like, in my mind, if you're good at the game, and really, you can be good just by paying money, but there's also playing the game. So you can have Krakens, they spend a lot of money, and they're good or whatever, right? # good. But you also have to play the game, and there's stupid Krakens and there's smart Krakens. Well, I'm not a stupid Kraken. So if you're smart and you play the game, then you're dangerous, right?
Yeah.
And you're good. But if you reach that level, you want to compete against people like you. You want to kind of have competition with the best, right? At least in my mind, it's always been this way. I want to fight the best, always, because I'm trying to be the best or one of the best, right? So then you want to have competition with other people that are the same as you. And, I would think that a team like Null and Void and in role play, that's what you would want, especially if you're just kind of dominating RP, right? You want to go fight the best. So the best is an NRP. That's the reality. So you got to come over here, you Null and Void guys. Come hang out. I mean, you really have nothing to lose, right? You really don't.
Yeah, as you can clearly see, Evil can compete really well.
Yeah, Evil does fine. You don't even need good, or you got good, that does fine too. So
yeah.
You guys, I would expect that you guys come to NRP at some point, because it just kind of gets boring, right? Why you want to just keep, boo-bopping everybody that you fight in RP, mollywopping the whole server? What's the point of that, right?
Yeah.
That's boring. That's the problem we've had, kind of
in the past,
last several seasons. That's why we chose to do what we did this season. Just come in naked and alone. Not afraid, just naked and alone, and just fucking get wrecked like we've gotten wrecked. So
yep. Man, that's rough. I mean, I love the whole RP aspect of things, but at this point of the game, I think it would be good if everybody just moved over. As you can clearly see, at least Evo would not have as issues competing, because before Evo did struggle in the beginning without Saruman, especially without Saruman. They were struggling a little bit to compete versus the starting 2.0 meta, but now you will win with your all Evil formations. So
yeah, you do just fine.
You will do just fine.
Just fine. You do just fine. A lot of these fire guys, they got all Evil guys, and they're doing just fine.
Yep. Who's this?
You got to work on those verbal pauses, bro. Doesn't look good. Doesn't translate well.
What do you mean?
You just always sigh. I was like, you do that constantly, and I don't think you're actually aware of it, but you need to work on it, because you're a presenter, right? You're in front of the camera, so you got to work on that.
All right, appreciate that.
And another thing is, people that are presenters or in front of people talking, you work on your
240.
Your pauses, where a lot of people say I still do it, right? but they'll in the middle of what they're trying to say, they'll go and then continue, right? You just have to work on it.
Yes, sir. It does take practice.
Both of these issues, it's just practice, repetition, and then you phase it out. You know. Who's in the chat over here? I haven't even looked. We got anything to respond to?
Let's have a look. We got Matsu. Matsu runs the Imrahil formation that actually performs quite well. I mean, I gotta pull my unit.
Imrahil. What's he do? Like healing or something?
Yeah, he does a bit of healing. Matsu, if you have any recent reports, because he actually changed from his Imrahil to something else to Guahir, I think, unless I'm wrong. Let me see where is his last report.
Papri. How do you say this guy's name right here on your screen?
Papyrifera. It's a tree, in Latin. I remember.
He kind of got like his formation kind of like a glass cannon formation.
Yeah, it does quite well.
Yeah, he does all right.
He does.
Yep.
Where is? I'll look in a second. Looking at some numbers.
So, who's in the chat? Anybody? I can't see it.
We got MSV from Fire. We got Matsu. We got Nicholas from Null. We got SU57M. Seabass. What's up, Seabass? We got Sleepy. We got Arsenal. We got Cleonis here. League Place. We got Demon Goddess. She's in the chat too. We got Andre. We got Rio. Not Rayo. We got Rio.
You got what's her name? Cleona and Goddess. What, Maxime? I think that's how you say it.
Yep.
In here, yeah, a couple ladies hanging out, looking all fine over there in Ohio and in Belgium.
All right. Yeah. Very good points that you mentioned. I remember when I first started. I mean, I saved them, but I hit them like my very early streams from like 3 years ago. And man, if you watch this, when I watch them from time to time to see how much we've grown from having 2 views on the first live stream to what we do now. And
was it that low, the first one? Wow.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Starting a channel from scratch. When we first started streaming, and that was before you even found my channel. That's like way before you even found my channel when we talked.
How many months were you doing it before I reached out to you? Was it like 2, 3?
Probably around 4 or 5. I started a couple months, and I did like one stream, every like 3-4 weeks, and then I started doing more, seriously, because then I created a server on Discord. I found a good team to play with. Started then posting on the community, which really got the push. So
yeah, you know what I remember from back then, right? What was it, like 2.5 years ago?
Yeah, I think you and I we've been on this for like 3 years now.
Oh, has it?
Yeah, for sure.
It's been a while, but here's what I remember. I remember thinking at the time, well, hey, I want to go find a streamer. And I looked at all the streamers, and there was a lot of streamers back then, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you were the one that I thought that I could work with. You were the only one I thought I could work with. So it was kind of like one shot in my gun, and that was it. But what I remember this is funny. I remember telling you when we're talking about theory crafting, like, what are we going to do here and how do we do it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I was advising you, like, well, because I'm in Los Angeles, and kind of like a lot of movies and film and TV and all that happen out here or whatever, and I'm familiar with that, and I used to do some of that work myself back in the day. But I remember telling you, this is funny. I remember telling you, bro, well, one of the things you got to do is you got to get your ass on camera. Okay? I'm like, you're not like some 800-pound fucking troll, are you, or something like this? And you're like, no, I don't want to do that. I don't want to get on camera.
That's true. I remember saying no to that. Yep.
That's a deal breaker. I'm like, I'm gonna need you to get on this camera, homeboy. You know, we're gonna have to make this happen. So whatever it is, we're gonna have to talk through this and get this figured out. Because
Yeah.
you got to get on camera, bro, to do this. You're like, no, I don't want to get on camera. It was so funny.
Yeah, it
And then the
was.
first time you got on camera, I was like, what's wrong with that? You look fine. What's the problem here? You talk fine. Let's go.
Yeah, yeah. It's true. I remember that. I was always, nah, I don't want to expose myself. I want to keep myself to myself. But then, yeah, it was good, man. I've enjoyed the ride, and so I appreciate. I'm grateful to you. I think I've said this before, but
It's all right, bro.
no, it was good, dude. Do you want to know when I actually heard about you? I don't think I've ever told you this. I remember
Okay,
in my very first season. I can't remember the guy. I don't know if I played with you in this first season. Who was your very first team? Do you remember?
Murder, MRDR, murder.
Because I started an account and I was what faction was it?
I think we're in Mordor the first season.
See, this is the thing. I think I fought against you.
I don't think so. Not the first season. But what happened was I became so well known after the first season because I invested a lot of money. Like I spent most of the money that I spent on this game in the first 2 weeks, right? Because I knew coming in from the last game that I'd played what it was going to take and how this was going to play out, right? So I went all in the first season. But the problem was I became so well known after the first season, and of course we won the first season, right? The second season, the whole server ganged up on my one team, 100 people, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Thanatos was there with Phoenix, right? You remember Phoenix?
Yeah.
I don't care for Phoenix, but that's another story. Anyway, so the whole server came at us, and they were talking mad shit, bro, like mad shit in Bag End. And in the season chat, when it started, like, we're gonna stomp you out, and posting this and putting up their commanders and blah blah blah, constant, bro. Like, remember Walkman? You don't remember him, do you?
Yeah, I do.
Oh, this is a super clown, homie. I mean, a super clown. All day just living and breathing to talk shit in world chat, right? And it was so toxic that second season. So fucking toxic. Unbelievably out of control toxicity. It was off the charts toxic, right? I mean, all day long, world chat was nothing but insults, and I'm going to stomp you out, and you're weak, and you suck, and we're the best, blah, blah, blah. Well, eventually, I got tired of this shit, right? I just got tired of it. I'm like, look, I got to draw a line. I got boundaries, I don't know about you, but I got can't tolerate for only not very long, and I'm going to have to do something. Anyway, so I just got on there. I was like, look, whoever you think you are, or whoever you think are your strongest, whatever, blah, blah, blah. I tell you what, check this out. All right. How about this? You take your best, whoever 5 guys are, and come meet me alone on the battlefield, and let's see just how big and tough you really are. Right. And that proceeded to start a whole season of further toxicity. Right. Because what happened was, they were so scared of me individually from that season 1. I don't know how this even happened because nobody streamed it. I don't know, but everybody in our second season was ready and, combined and together, and the whole server against one team, and it was nuts, right? But ended up just being a full season toxicity. But what happened at the end was, because we were obviously losing, and we were going to lose badly, but what ended up happening was one of this coalition of people got tired of their toxicity, and this was the Gondor team specifically that I'm talking about that was very toxic. They got tired of it, and they broke the alliance and went against them. And then they asked us, hey, do you guys want to jump in with us? And of course, we're like, yes. And we ended up actually getting second place, coming back from the worst team and the lowest point, out of the rankings to second.
Do you remember? You don't remember the name of the leader of this Gondor team? Do you?
It was something of the White Tree. Yeah, it was Walkman and a bunch of these old guys, and they all ran together. But oh my God, I've never seen a season so toxic. But I did anything and everything I could that entire season to check every single one of them. Like I singled them out, found them, stomped them out on the battlefield over and over and over. But
What
you
teams?
know
What did teams you play in in that season?
that was Bang, I believe.
No, no, sorry. What I
I-
mean, like what team? Like what was the faction? Sorry.
Oh, we were in Angmar. The team that won was in Rohan. The team that was the most toxic was in Gondor. I'm sorry, it was Hell. Hell Awaits. That was the name of the second season team. And there was a team in everywhere had teams. It was a full server, you know.
Did
but
you
it was the
in your
whole-
very first season? Did you run alerts with Mumakil?
Of course. Of
So,
course.
see,
But that was Witch King though. Witch King was just killing everything because people hadn't realized how to utilize Gandalf the White and Gil in season 1. So even in season 2, they
Mhm.
just realized it about 3 or 4 weeks in. One fucking guy ran his Gandalf the Grey out there and actually drew me and beat me because before that, my Witch King marched and he came back with at least, I don't know, 10 dead players, you know, under his belt. Like Thanatos said, I believe in an old stream I hit a stack of 60 people, or I hit a stack of like 100 and killed 60 of the players with just my Witch King in that season, which I don't know if anybody's ever seen anything like that. But
That's nuts.
and then this one guy about week 3 walked his Gandalf the Grey out there and put a whatever madness, whatever deal together, and he drew me. And then what happens? Of course, the floodgates open, and then next thing you know, the next day, every single player on good side has a Gandalf the Grey set up the same. So it just really kind of was bad, right? We were like, oh shit, what do we do now?
I think in my very first season in the game, I think I had a very random name in my first season. I think I played you.
Really?
I was in Gondor in my very first season, and I remember there was a guy in Mordor that kind of ran the whole, like, it was basically, he wasn't the leader of the team, I believe, but he was basically but he was like running the show, and I'm pretty sure it was you, because
Maybe.
did you ever have a Facebook profile called Jax Cali, and you're on a motorcycle?
Yeah, I still have that.
There you go. So I remember finding you, either because you became famous that early, or because I actually played you. And I remember, let me look this guy up on Facebook. And I remember typing your name on Facebook. This was 3.5 years ago. And I remember finding your profile. So I was like, okay, so this is the guy. This is the guy. So I think I played you because I remember there was a guy, I was Gondor, and then everybody, like Lothlorien, all came down versus Gondor. We had a nap with Mordor and had a nap with Isengard, which is on the left. But I remember a guy running Muma kills with Lurtz, and I think Witch King and Sauron, and nobody could deal with him because he was like the biggest spender in our server. I'm pretty sure it was you.
It sounds like me. Yeah, I still have that same Facebook. I never use Facebook. I haven't used it in years, and I actually only created the fucking Facebook for family and friends that wanted to see pictures of my life. But I never use social media in general, really. But that's me, so it definitely sounds like me.
Yes, I'm pretty sure. I remember everybody was nuts.
I don't know how that happened, though. I still don't know to this day how that happened, that you come into your second season and the entire server knows who you are and is aligned against you. One player. I'm just one guy, right? Like,
yeah, bro. But nobody was like out of nowhere having like basically every commander unlocked in their first season. Like, I remember us talking about you. I remember because I was on Discord with my first season team, and everybody's like, "Dude, this guy is just nuts." And so yes, you were quite famous early on.
And I don't know how though. How? There was nobody. I didn't face any of the streamers. None of the streamers knew me. I don't know how it happened. It was strange. Still strange.
Yeah. People were like running. People were still running like Ilwins and Haldirs.
Oh, sure. And Theo was good back in the day, actually.
So
there was a lot of characters that were good. King of the Dead and Ghost, that was good.
Oh, that was so good.
Kills, you know.
Yep.
That's how they my Muma kill build. Yeah.
Yes,
those were the good old days, you know.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Just quick
I
here.
just
Just before we get going, quick huge shout out to Angus, my boy Angus with the 10-pound super chat here, bro. Gotta make sure shout you out, my friend. I appreciate the support, brother.
Sleepy said, was Stunner the leader? Yeah, Stunner from season 3, which was Bang. It went Murder to Hella Waits to I think Bang, which I fucking was so against that stupid fucking name. I'm like, you guys are out of control with this name and shit. But Stunner was the leader. That was like Batman and Robin, me and him for a time.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, it was Bang changed to Bane, I believe. I have to go look. It was let's see here. Yeah, it was Murder, Hella Waits, Bang, then Bane. Then the next season, I somebody from the original team or whatever asked me to join Sard. I think Sleepy Sleepy was with us and Bane and Bang, I believe. But I joined Sard that season, and then after that, it was. Oh no, I'm sorry. That was after the Bane season. That was after the Clown Fiesta season 4. The imbalanced freaking 7v1 ratio of good versus evil at first War of the Rings. Then the next season I joined Sard, then back to the regular team, and then next season I did the same thing. I joined another team with friends, and then we found the Pirates. We merged with the Pirates and went forth like that for a time, like 4 or 5 seasons. And did all right, Anytime I've ever had like a bad season, it's always been kind of a coalition against us. It's strange, but that's the way it's played out. Any season I've had that has gone badly, or I don't really care, but about rings or whatever. I mean, kind of, but not too much. But any season where
love that.
Any season that I personally have played and we haven't gotten the ring, I think almost everyone it's been a server coalition against whatever team I was on.
Remember that one versus the Pirates?
Oh yeah, that was nuts. Yeah, whole server against. Yeah. But we were a big team though.
We were.
It wasn't like 100. It was like 400 of us, but they had like 1,000 or I don't know what the number was, 1,200 or something. So.
The crazier, I remember the tough thing about that. It was just, I remember at one point, just like 90% of the leaders just turned off from the game.
Yeah, well, it was rough, man.
It was a rough season, that one.
That was an ambush, a prearranged ambush by Gaia. But we came back and got our paybacks eventually.
That was an interesting season. Ooh, rough one. One of the funnest ones, though, for if I remember correctly, was the one we played Iron. That was a good one.
Yeah, that was a fun season. Iron was a tough team, man. And they did some crazy stuff that season, man.
I mean, that
snuck in and stole our capital. We couldn't even stop it. It was crazy. We were dominating. They just snuck in to swiped our capital.
That was the season we learned about Saints.
Yeah.
Out of nowhere, this dude is on the other side of the map.
Bro, they came across the map, sniped our fucking capital. What the fuck? Ow.
That was a good season. Good time.
Back then, all you had to do was just go somewhere and take a 200 and build a fortress. Next thing you know, your army's there.
Yep.
It was great, right? Yeah.
Actually, the Kingdom one. So we got a Vici here. What does a Vici run? R9 Bjorn. R10 Gandalf the White. Z7. Ooh, Z7 Witch King. Probably one of the coolest looking commanders in this game. And
show off Lucy's team so everyone that's in roleplay can see how well an evil roleplay formation can do in NRP. Oh yeah, he actually wasn't even full, and he still almost killed the guy. Golly.
Yeah.
Well, the first key I think if you're a role play, you're one of these null and void guys that's gonna come check out NRP. One of the key prerequisites I think you're gonna need and have and utilize is Undying and his relic. That's kind of the key to the whole formation, because he is kind of like your Gil or whatever, you know, that you're so used to fighting if you're an evil RP and you're playing against good, right?
Yep.
He's kind of that. He kind of does all that, tanking and healing and evading. He brings the whole formation together. You're all evil, you know, formation together. Undying does it all for you and gives it everything it needs, that boost that it can compete with anything. And Lucy's one of the Mazay, it's actually Haruko, but Mazay I think took it over from Haruko, and then Lucy is piloting this season because Mazay is on a break. But he's one of the few people you see that has a maxed Undying relic, and it's worth every single bit of gold you put into it. It's worth it. That's maybe the best relic in the whole game, in my opinion.
Extremely good, for sure. I agree. Yeah, this formation just nice. I wonder if Avicii doesn't run a you know some Zenith evil commanders, because he has a Z7 Witch King and a Z13 Sauron. I'm gonna assume that he runs some some strong evil damage dealers.
Another key to Lucy's formation, Mazay's formation, another key to why it's successful is because he has a very fast Sauron. And if you don't know, a fast Sauron is the best Sauron, because he's the CC king, and if he can go ahead of everyone else and CC them, that's what you want.
Mm-hmm.
Even if he can just go ahead of the other Sauron and put the debuffs on first, you want that also, because now the first Sauron that goes puts those debuffs on the focus, attack, and all that, right?
Yep.
He puts the debuffs on the overall base stat first. So then when the slower Saruman goes and does the same thing back to the other team and puts the debuffs on, he is taking from that reduced base stat total when he does that to apply those debuffs. So your Sauron is a slower Sauron. You have, let's say, 200 focus. Well, the faster Sauron's going to debuff that focus total down to, I don't know, let's say 150, right? Okay, so from 200 to 150. Now, when the slower Sauron is going to do the same thing, and he's going to put the debuffs of all the enemy commanders on them, he's going to, it says based upon focus, right? Based off of focus, scales off of focus, right? Well, he's going to pull and utilize that 150 reduced focus he has when he goes to debuff. So it's going to be less of a debuff than the faster Sauron.
Yep. Look at that beauty.
But his Sauron is faster than every... If you look at the battle report and who goes first, his Sauron goes first every single fight. Go look at it. Pull up the details. Now look at look at who goes first every round. Yep, there's his Sauron every single round. Yep, just what I said.
Yes, sir.
So I think maybe the best Sauron in this day and age is the one that I'm using, and a lot of people I see are using more and more. But the best Sauron is, number one, a fast Sauron. Number two, a tanky Sauron with high command, and a troop damage Sauron. So he's using Snagas. I think that's the best Sauron. A fast, troop built, tanky Sauron using Snagas is the best Sauron in this current day and age.
Yeah, this is a solid one right here.
Because if you can have a fast Sauron that's also got high command and troop damage, so you got Snagas with, let's say, I don't know, 160 to 200 attack, he's going to get you 50 to 70k damage on average, which is great from a support. I mean, who does that as a support? Really, nobody, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
and he, putting out all that CC first, hopefully. So that's the best optimization, I think, of Sauron. Fast troop build snaggers.
See, he goes first, nerfs all those 3. Then
Yeah, if you look at it, you'll see that when he's going to debuff the Avicii Sauron first, and then his Avicii Sauron's going to come back and debuff and lower the focus and attack and all the other, Lucy's commanders, but he's going to be utilizing less of a focus pool because he's already been debuffed.
mm-hmm. Yep. Gonna go down by a lot. Yep. All right,
So,
sounds good.
Fast Sauron is the best Sauron, if you didn't know.
What are you doing the rest of the day, Jax?
I gotta get some food, so I'm gonna have some food delivered, and then I'll be able to play for a little bit, and then I gotta go meet somebody later
All right.
in Santa Monica. Yeah, we're gonna go to the 3rd Street Promenade. They've just changed the laws for the 3rd Street Promenade and made it. I'm not exactly sure. I got to look at it, but I think you can just drink freely and openly all along the 3rd Street Promenade. 3rd Street Promenade, if you don't know it, is down by the beach in Santa Monica, and it's just basically an open air mall. So it's a very long street, like an old school street, where there's shops on both sides, and then everybody kind of congregates and walks through the middle and hangs out. And there's restaurants and and just a bunch of different things going on. They got a bunch of booskers there, people that play live music or whatever, do whatever, magic act or whatever. Got a lot of those guys down there, and they got some artwork and a lot of places to sit, and hang out and just chill. So
That's cool. I've been to Santa Monica many
you have?
years. Oh, many years ago. Many years ago.
So you probably went to the 3rd Street Promenade then.
Yeah, it's a pier. What's the famous one?
No, the pier is yeah, they have the Pacific Pier with the, you always see that, the pier with the, the wheel and the rides.
Yep.
All the shops and stuff and all that. That's just a few blocks from the 3rd Street Promenade. So you can walk from the 3rd Street Promenade like a few blocks towards the ocean, and then you walk right down to the pier. Pier's nuts though. It's so packed with tourists all the time. It's a madhouse, bro. Especially in the Friday, Saturday nights. I mean, it's just wall to wall people. You can't even walk. It's just madness. Yeah, you get a lot of tourists out this way.
Oh yeah, of course. California, all day, every day, man.
The whole world comes to you here. It's an international city. Can be nice, Depends on what you're looking for, but can be useful.
Definitely love it. California's nice. All right. Well, look. You know what, guys? We're about an hour and a half into our stream. We're gonna cut it short a little bit today. Gotta save up some troops for a fight later on, so we cannot waste all these troops. We're gonna save up the little resources we have. We're really getting close to about 100,000 into the barracks. We did a lot.
You're running. Oof.
Running on fumes, man.
And you're really fucking going all out trying to get up this merit board, huh?
I am. I'm for shizzle.
You're on a mission. I can tell.
For shizzle.
Yeah, you are on some kind of mission. I see it.
I am this season. So I mean,
I've never seen you so invested in a season than this season. That's because you got that new Ferrari.
That's true as well. But it's just, but like I said, about a month ago, 35 days ago, I just kind of thinking about what I wanted to do, in the future.
Yeah.
And I was like, I really want to make this whole YouTube thing happen. And so I'm just really
Yeah.
invested into this right now, So
Yeah.
for me, that's what it is about. So I'm really trying to climb, but I've never really cared about climbing up into the merit board. And so usually it's just about like how, I mean, it still is this season. It's always about helping the team, but I'm really like optimizing every little bit that I can to save a little bit of troop here, get more resources there, so I can do a couple extra hits, because I really want to. I really want to be fighting with the big dogs this season. It's like, I mean, look at this. If you remove,
you are fighting with the big dogs. I usually always end up, for some reason, I always end up 7th. I don't know why.
really,
I always end. The last, like, whatever, 3 or 4 seasons, I've always been like 7th. I don't know why, but you're definitely there. I mean, you've never been in this top whatever 8 before until now.
Usually I'm like top 30. Usually I'm like around top 30.
Yeah.
So
You're achieving what you set out to do, but I don't know that you achieve what you're looking to do on the other side as far as really make this work, because it's kind of out of your control, because you only have so much audience for this game, right?
yeah,
It's not like Call of Duty, right, where you got like, I don't know, 500,000 people or whatever over there, right, that are watching streams or whatever, right? So it's kind of not completely in your control, but you're giving it your best shot. I'll give you that.
exactly, and that's what it's about right now. Is the consistency,
Sure.
and then we'll make adjustments as we need. So we shall see how it goes.
Yeah.
Definitely in the long, definitely very serious in making this into the long run. So it's going to be a nice little marathon here. Are you gonna, by the way, are you gonna go get into the Dune game?
They got the beta, or they had the beta this last weekend. I didn't play it, but I think, I'm gonna jump in. You know what I saw that really turned me off, though?
What?
Is I know what's going to happen in that game, because it's the same thing that happens in any of those games. Is it's basically going to come down to, because it's a big MMO, right?
Yep.
So it's going to come down to who has the most people, right, and who's the strongest. So guilds, right, and groups, Zergs rather, right. And even in the beta, if you go over there and look at whatever page, the page for it or whatever, and I swear, bro, I went over there and I looked and I was like, I hope this doesn't happen. But then you look at the guild recruitment page and there's like 700 posts on there, right? There's like 700 guilds already in beta.
Wow.
So what's going to happen is it's basically going to be a situation where whoever gets the most people in the most groups and the strongest people are going to beat everyone else. So I don't know.
Has this ever happened where the smaller guilds all get together and then go after the big one?
You can't. It does, but yeah. We did something like that. I built the largest team in Elder Scrolls Online the first year. This is way back when. This is like 10 years ago, but the first year I had the biggest guild. So a guild at that time held 500 people. So I actually had 2 guilds, so I had 1,000 people. But even though it was this biggest guild, the strongest faction, because in that game it was 3 factions, and so it was yellow, red, and blue, right? Ebonheart, the elves, and Daggerfall was blue. We were Daggerfall. But even though I had the biggest team, the strongest faction was Ebonheart, the red team, because they had the most players. And it was something like 5-to-1 ratio.
Wow.
But we arranged something just like you're talking about. So I took my team in, because in that game, what happens is, Elder Scrolls Online is, the PvP area is just this one big region, kind of like the same as Dune Awakening. And in the very middle, there is 8 castles in a kind of a circle, like a ring, right?
Mm-hmm.
You take over, in that game, if you take over those 8 keeps and you have them all, you own them all by the time you take the 8th keep, that faction who did that, they crown an emperor. Okay, they get the emperorship. So the emperor, whoever that is, usually the faction has to choose who that's going to be, and it's usually the strongest team, the strongest player, or whatever. Not always, but the emperor, when you're emperor in that game, you basically get 50% increased attack and defense. So everything you're doing is 50% more stronger as an individual player, right? So in the server that Eben, because there's different servers, like 3 or 4 or 5 different servers, and usually what happened was the yellow team would go and they would take their own server so they could have their own membership and their own buffs and go farm, and because there's PvE as well in the middle or whatever, and a lot of valuable stuff that you got to go get. You got to go into the PvP. So each faction would go get one of the 3 of the 5 servers and then take it over, have all their players there. They'd have emperorship, so they have all the power and the strength. And they did that so they, all their regular players could go farm, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then there were 2 servers where everybody was just fighting for it, right? Nobody owned it. It wasn't their server, okay, per se, right? But Ebonheart was the biggest faction by far, 5-1 against everyone else. But what I did was I worked for a couple weeks networking amongst people I knew in that game. And I got some of the yellow guys teams and some of the other blue teams under our team. And we all got together exactly like you're saying. Dozen smaller teams go and take out. And we did like this midnight raid. We went at, the off-peak hour or whatever, and we strolled in, and we went into the red server, and it's all red. There are no blue, there are no yellow there. No one. It is just everywhere you look in the whole map, there's nothing but red players, right? Everywhere and anywhere. They hold every single castle, because there's like probably 20, 25 castles overall, but the 8 in the middle are the most important. And then what I did was I arranged for 8 groups of people, okay? And in that game, if you get off your horse when you're riding and go to the ground and crouch, you actually go invisible. So you're stealth and no one can see you unless they walk right up to you, right? Or somebody does a skill, throws a skill out, and AoE to reveal stealth. But nobody's doing that on your own server because you never see enemies because they just get wrecked because there's so many red guys there, right? But then I sent 8 teams, individual teams, to each one of those 8 castles on the outskirts of the castle, right? All in stealth. So whatever, 20, 30 guys at each castle. And then at the exact same moment, I had them all start to attack and besiege those castles to break through the walls and gates to get to the inner sanctum to take over the flag, right? So at exactly the same moment on the map, all 8 castles lit up and showed, like, when you look at the overall map, it shows like a red dot, like this is being attacked. Well, they all lit up at the same moment. Well, long story short, before the enemy could get muster all their whatever and come defend, blah, we took every single one of those castles and got the emperorship. And then these fools, there's so many that they had Discords, they had Reddits, they had Facebook, these fools went on every single social media platform and put the word out all over the world. Hey, this is going on. Get online right now. I mean, everywhere. It was everywhere. It was on everything, right? So then what happened was this massive motherfucking surge all just started appearing. I mean, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds. And we're like, I don't know, 500, or we're like 2,000. Let's say we were 2,000 at the time. Well, there's like 50,000 people coming out of the woodworks. It was a slaughter fest, bro. So eventually we started losing castle by castle by castle because they had to retake the 8 to get emperorship. And I forget who our emperor was. I didn't take emperorship. I wasn't the strongest player. My character at that time was a support guy, but I chose one of my best warriors to be emperor. And we finally got down to the very last castle that they needed to take to get back their server and get their emperorship. And everybody on our team's in that castle fighting all over it against, like, I mean, tens of thousands of people right coming at us, bro. It was so epic. But there's a stream somewhere about it, or a YouTube video somewhere on there.
I'll have to look it up now as soon as I finish.
Daggerfall PvP, I posted it. I only post a few videos ever, but just Jack Scally on YouTube or something, but way back when. But The last castle was such an epic battle, though. We held out for almost a whole day, bro. Against, I mean, like it's the Alamo times 10, right? It was nuts. Yeah, it's quite fun. Quite
So,
fun.
it does sound good, man. That sounds
But the
fun.
problem, back to the topic at hand, was Dune. Dune is going to go that route. It's going to be this massive, and even within amongst the like 700 guilds in the beta that are advertising, even in there, you see several that already have like hundreds of players in their guild, and just like the strongest players are in there, and they're advertising only the best, whatever strongest, most no life, whatever hardcore can join this guild, and they got like 500 people in the guild already in beta. I'm like, good grief. Do I really want to undertake this again? I don't know if I do.
Yeah, that's a good question. That's a
But
good
it's
question.
great game. It's gonna be an awesome game. I know that.
Yeah.
It's just gonna be like every other MMO, I suspect, where it's just like the most people with the most players and strongest just zerg everyone
Dominating. Yeah. Sounds good, man. Well, Jax, you want to kind of bid your farewells before we close the stream for tonight?
Well, just have a good weekend, or I'll see you when I see you, I guess.
Still
Thursday.
Still Thursday, my man.
Well, I'm not gonna be here. I'm not gonna be here tomorrow when you do.
All
I doubt
right.
I'll be here Saturday, but maybe Sunday.
All right. Cool.
What we do have to do is we got to figure out.
Yeah, I'm gonna start. I'm gonna start
together.
texting everybody here as soon as we finish.
You got to get everybody together for the season recap show.
Yeah, we gotta do this one for sure. All right, guys.
Put this baby to bed.
Shout out to Wyman here. Wyman, you just got in. We're actually finishing for tonight. So I'll hit you up on a DM because I know you asked me about a commander. I'll let you know. All right, brother. Take care, Wyman. Sleepy, Jax, I appreciate you being here today. It was awesome. It was fun. Talking about some good old times. And in the future good times we're going to have still. So we ain't done yet.
Nope.
All right. Sleepy, League, Ghostly, SU57M. What's up, Vincent? Have a good night, guys. Matsu, Spilios, Cleona, Nicholas, Seabass. You guys have a great night. Don't forget, we're going to be here tomorrow for the 31st episode. You guys take care. Peace out.